Hi, I'm Rich Simonon, and welcome to part 2 of what you need to know about buying a bank REO. If by any chance you're tuning into this video and you haven't seen part 1, find part 1 and then come back and do part 2. It'll make a whole lot more sense to you. Okay, let's jump in. We've talked about financing, we've talked about offers. Now let's jump in with number 3. You need to understand, at least again in our area, that if you're going to look at your standard bank REO, you need to expect that you're not the only one doing this. There's going to be competition, and you're probably going to be dealing with multiple offers. In our area, I can only speak for Riverside, but in our area, 56% of everything that closes escrow closes at or above the list price. That means that there is some overbidding involved because there's more and more people involved looking at properties. Right now in our area, we suffer from a lack of inventory, so there's more buyers than sellers. But let's talk specifically about REOs. Understand that a bank, most banks, I can't say all of them, but most banks are required to leave the home on the market for 5 to 7 days before they can start entertaining offers or looking at offers. It's not like a regular seller where the home goes on the market on Monday and you see it Monday night and you write your offer on Tuesday, and Tuesday night it gets presented to the seller and the seller loves it and everybody's happy and the home is yours within 24 to 48 hours. It may not happen that fast, but it could. With a bank REO, it doesn't work that way. That property has to stay on the market for 5 to 7 days before the bank can accept any offers. Why? Because that way it minimizes the possibility for fraud, that the listing agent slides in their brother at some ridiculously low price, convinces the bank it's not worth anymore, and it never really had a chance to go on the market. So when the home has got to stay there for 5 to 7 days, there could be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people that are looking for the same thing, and so you could get into a situation where there's multiple offers. If there's multiple offers, then there's liable to be overbidding. So let's talk about that. Let's take a property that's listed at $200,000. Your agent should be able to tell you something to the effect of, hey, you know what? This is a screaming deal from 200 to 210. It's a good deal from 210 to 220, and anything over 220 you don't want to mess with, or something like that. They may tell you that at 200,000 it's not a real good deal and you should be able to buy it for 185 or 190, whatever. Bottom line is they should be able to give you a range on screaming deal, good deal, and then don't go near it. What you need to do is you need to pick a price somewhere in there that's going to make sense for you. But understand, don't expect the bank to come back with a counteroffer. Again, they don't want to take the time. If there's 5 or 6 or 7 offers, they're not liable to counter those offers like a regular seller. They're going to pick the one that makes the most sense, and boom, they're going to accept it. And now if you've left a little play in your price, you may not get it at all. So my best advice, offer a price that you're comfortable with if you get it, and you're comfortable with if you don't, because there's no guarantee that you're going to turn around and you're going to get any kind of a counteroffer. Also, there have been some buyers and some agents who decide to get very, very clever here. And what they do, go back to this $200,000 list price, okay, that maybe it'll sell between 200 and 210, and they offer 230 because they know they're going to be the winning bid. And then what they're hoping for is that when your appraiser on your new loan goes out to that property and appraises it and brings the appraisal in at the reasonable price of around 210, that the bank is going to drop their price down from 230 that you offered to the 210, in which case then the 230 got you the bank to accept it, but you get it for your 210. Don't outthink yourself. Banks aren't stupid. They realize that this goes on, and if you offer something way out of whack, one of two things is going to happen. They're either going to reject your offer because they know you're horsing around and they're not interested, or they're going to accept your 230 offer and they're going to make you sign a document that says if your appraisal comes in below the 230, you will pay the difference in cash. So in this case, if you offer 230 and your appraisal comes in at 210, guess what? You just obligated yourself for $20,000 in cash. So don't offer a price that you're not comfortable paying, and then you go from there. What can I say? The other thing is just again, if you're getting into multiple situations, be ready to act quickly. If your agent calls on Monday and says, look, we need to get out here, this thing just came on the market, don't wait a week and a half because you're busy watching Dancing with the Stars and you can't make it out and to the house. You're liable to lose it. You're going to need to be able to act quickly on these things. Next thing. If you do get the property, if your bid or your offer is accepted, then escrow is going to be opened. And the escrow company that you get opened with is not going to be like any escrow company you've worked with before. It's liable to be out of town, out of the county. It could be out of the state. We don't have any control over that. You don't have any control over that. But this escrow company is not customer oriented. understand that what happens in situations like these is that some escrow company goes to a big bank and says, hey, you know the $400 or $500 in escrow fees that you normally have to pay when you enter into escrow? We'll do it for $1.98 if we can get all your escrows. The buyer, you, are still going to pay your normal fees, but the fees for the seller are discounted radically for them to get the business. Well, you know what? You get what you pay for. So just understand that the escrow company you use is not going to be the hand-holding type that's going to be there to answer all your questions. You'll probably never even talk to your escrow officer. Your agent's going to do that, and it's all going to be done generally through email or through the mail. Again, just roll with it. Yeah, the REO asset manager is going to make you sign a document that says you can go wherever you want for the escrow company. But if you insist on going to an escrow company, they just won't take your offer. It's all about the bottom line. And the escrow company that the banks use have given them a massive volume discount on the escrow fees. We don't know what they are. And so you're going to wind up using their escrow company. So just grin and bear it and hang in there. The communication level won't be as good as anyone would like, but you will get through it. The last thing you need to be aware of on an REO is that you need to get extremely comfortable and embrace the term as is. Let me explain to you what I mean. The home as you see it is the home as you're going to get it. Don't go in there and expect them to do any fix-up things. If they wanted to fix it up, they would have fixed it up before it went on the market. The bank is already losing tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars, so they are completely uninterested in doing any additional work to the home that's just going to cost them to lose more money. Now, we highly encourage you to get a home inspection so that you know what issues are in the home, so you know what you're walking into. But don't expect the bank to repair anything. You may, and I say heavy on may, you may get the bank to make some repairs if there are health and safety items noted in the home inspection that you have done. Because the banks don't want to take any liability for any problems or maybe get sued later on. Understand, they don't even have to fix health and safety issues because their obligation under the law is to simply make sure you know about them, which of course you know about them because you're asking for them to be fixed. So sometimes the banks will fix health and safety items, sometimes they won't. But they will never, 99 out of 100 times, will not go near anything that's cosmetic, paint, carpet, peeling this, cracking that, leaking that. They're not going to do it. So what you see is what you get, and get very comfortable with that. Maybe health and safety, no cosmetic. The last couple of things are just notes. Understand that the asset manager that the listing agent is working with that's really doing the yay or nay, they have a limited scope of what they can and cannot approve. So if your home's listed for 200 grand and there's been no offer, so you're going to come in with an offer of 175 or 180 or 185, expect that whatever answer you get from the bank is going to take a while because that asset manager, it may be outside the limit of what they have to work with, and now they have to go back to the existing bank and go through their layers to get somebody to make a decision, and that can take time. So you need to understand that. Same thing with repairs. They're going to have to take some time to get you an answer. And then the last thing you need to know is if your escrow is going to be delayed for any reason on your part, the close of escrow is going to be delayed, don't ignore it. In a regular escrow, if you're supposed to close in 30 days, but it looks like it's going to take 35 or 37, nobody really gets too excited. Everybody knows about it, and you just proceed ahead until you go ahead and close it. With an REO, you're going to need to get an extension from the bank in writing that says they will extend the escrow out a week or 2 weeks or whatever it is you want. Don't expect them to go real far because they need to get this thing closed. But they generally will extend it out a little bit. But, big but, you got to be ready for it. They're probably going to ask for what we call a per diem, which means they're going to ask you to pay X number of dollars a day from the time it was supposed to close until the time that it does close. Could be 50 bucks, could be 100, could be 150, depends on the bank, depends on their losses, depends on a lot of things. I can't tell you exactly what it will be. But expect that they're going to want a per diem for the delay if the delay was caused by your side of the transaction. And that means not only you, but if your lender dropped the ball and is taking an extra 4 or 5 days to close the loan, hey, you know what? You picked them, you're responsible for them. So the bottom line is if for some reason they weren't ready, if the house wasn't ready, well then they'll give you the extension and they won't charge you per diem. But if the delay is caused by your side of the transaction, you know what? It's probably going to cost you X number of dollars a day. Go back to what I said. If you're getting a screaming deal on the home, what's another $300 or $400? I realize you don't want to have to pay it. We're not advocating, yeah, offer it up. Just expect them to come back and want to see some kind of a per diem if you do a delay. So there you have it, parts 1 and part 2 about what you need to know if you're going to buy a repo. In summary, we talked about your financing, we talked about how to write your offer and keep it clean, we talked about expect competition, we talked about the escrow company, we talked about embracing the as-is clause. These are things you need to know that are not necessarily there with a regular standard sale, but going to be there with an REO. If you have any questions, if we didn't answer your question, if you need to know something about something else, for gosh sakes, give us a call. Our email address or our website is over, I think, my left shoulder when we edit these things. Give us a call. We are here to help. We don't bite, honest. There's too much misinformation out there. What we want to do is at least get you the correct information so you can figure out what you want to do and how you want to do it. Other than that, as I always say, thank you very much for tuning into the videos. We appreciate it. Hope it was informational. And hey, do not forget, be very careful out there. It's a very goofy real estate world, and we don't want you to get caught with misinformation. Thanks again. Bye-bye.